With that, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the next session, which is a fireside chat titled Green Growth, the Best Way Forward for Economic Recovery in the Post-Pandemic Era, a government perspective. And in this fireside chat, Deepak Bagla, MD and CEO, Invest India, will be in conversation with the moderator for this fireside chat, Davina Gupta, senior journalist and presenter, BBC News. Do stay tuned in, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back in a few minutes with the fireside chat.
Thank you, Ivan, for that introduction, and welcome, Mr. Deepak Bagla. It's always a pleasure to speak with you, sir. And let me also remind our audience that we will try to take some questions at the end of this session, so keep them coming. And with that, let's start, Mr. Bagla. First, going to the topic about the green growth and the best way forward for economic recovery in a post-pandemic era. Once we dive in, I know this question might be a little difficult to get to, so let me just put it across right away. Are you seeing an economic recovery given that there has been a rise in the number of cases for COVID in the past few weeks?
So Davina, first, thank you for getting us all together. And I must compliment, we've been following your work, especially on that entire startup space. And I must tell you, the team follows it very closely, and there's some excellent work you've been doing.
Thank you.
Now coming to the question that you asked. Let me just get straight into some statistics, because I think that was the best way we could start. And let's see what's happened during the past 12 months. Let's look at it. It's 12 months since we had our lockdown. Close to that, another few days. In the first 10 months of this financial year, that is on the 1st of April, 10 months, I've got an FDI of $67.5 billion. Let me put it in perspective. The total FDI we got last financial year was 74 billion. That is, and I still have 3 months to go before I close that one in. And to put it in another perspective, the same 67.5 was 51 in the last year during the same period of time. So that is just to show you that the numbers are increasing. Now let me bring it to the point, why is that happening? And let's just see what is it which has happened in the past 12 months. One, I think it would be fair to say, and we all know, that India's position as being a trusted business partner has been cemented very well. You know, I'm not just talking of the 123 countries you send the medicines to and the 73 countries you send the vaccines to. But even the UN said, and that is where Invest India came in, the only country in the world which actually set up a special team to handhold business during this period of time was in India. We were the first to do it. More importantly, even when we were in one of our strongest lockdowns, think about it. You know, the world's processing of your credit cards is done by us. Your banking processing is done by us. India continued doing that. Even in the midst of the pandemic, each of those Indians went to their office or worked from home and made that happen. So today, you are looked at as a trusted and a dependable partner across the globe. And please remember, I'm talking of time when not just all borders were sealed, but all our homes were sealed. And we were all sealed ourselves in that fear. Amidst that, this happened. Let's look at the second part which got established during these 12 months. The frugal innovation and the entire ability of nimble business models of my MSMEs and my startups. And you would know that better, Davina. Remember, on the 31st of March, I did not have a single PPE in India. In July, I had over 1 million PPEs in India, not just for my own self, but even for the rest of the world, including ventilators. And we were sending them to places like Europe and the US. What happened? Each of my MSMEs and my startups changed and pivoted their business models, that nimbleness which comes in, frugally innovated themselves and created all these products at global levels. I think that strength is now come forth. And I always believe that the new India, which we will see emerging out of this virus, I see it coming bottom up and my MSMEs playing the greatest role in that. The third part, the openness of India. Even when I am trying to cure my own self, still I'm sharing my vaccines with other countries. Of that 74 billion which came last year, you remember I told you that 74 billion, which is the highest ever FDI we got in our history, which we closed 31st March 2020, over 90% of that came in the automatic open route. That means the private sector has a role to play in each and every sector of my economy. And I think that is very firmly established. And the fourth, which is what I hear from each and every investor we deal with. And I must tell you, Divina, during the past 12 months, my team itself has dealt with over 20,000 global investors from across 109 countries. The first thing which is coming out from all of them is the strength and the decisiveness of the leadership in India. And the entire effort of that leadership is to ease the business journey of any investor. And look at, I won't go into the details because I know unless we have the time to do it, but look at the spate of unprecedented reforms touching all four elements of production, be it on the labor side, be it on the capital side, be it on the land side, be it even on the PLIs, the production-linked incentives. Success, by the way, and everybody is looking, are now looking to replicate. So what I'm saying is that it is now very well established on all the four pillars which I spoke to you. Now, if you'll just give me one more, with your permission, David. Before we went into this virus, what were the three strong imperatives which were driving businesses to India? You remember I told you 74 billion? That's the most we've received in our history. And over 40% of that is greenfield FDI. So let me tell you, today we are one of the top greenfield FDI destinations in the world, which means that the investor is willing to take a long-term call. But what were those three strong imperatives which was bringing these signals coming into India? The first, you were the largest economy and the largest opportunity sitting in the world. Second is you were the fastest growing large economy. Now let's see, youngest, we will remain the youngest, at least for the next 80 to 90 years. Second, you will remain the largest. You are 1.3 billion today. You will be 1.5 billion by 2024-25, at least for the next 100 to 200 years. You won't have any other economy with such a consumer base and such a strong consumer base, at least for the next, within a single national boundary, for the next 100, 200 years. Now remains, when you went into this virus, you were the fastest growing large economy on the planet. Let's look at what the world is saying now. You remain the fastest growing large economy. You're looking at 11.5% this year. You're looking at another 8% coming on next year. The point remains that the strengths of India are now coming to the fore. Now, let me share with you my own statistics. So, you know,
Mr. Bhagla, I would love to hear the statistics, but as I asked you in the beginning, that of course, the story for India, as you said, is intact in your view. The numbers that you've shared again have been released by the government of India during the recent budget as well. But my question again comes back to the central theme of this conversation, that what's the focus on the green economy? From the foreign direct investment that's come in, how much of the investment is focused on startups, particularly who are contributing to an environmentally sustainable growth?
So a large part, have you seen the kind of VC funding and the startup funding which is happening? You have the statistics on that one, which is one of the highest we've ever got in our history so far. That takes me to the numbers which I was wanting to share with you. I have a dedicated relationship manager for each of the companies which we work with, global and local. On the global, when I went into this virus last year in March, my entire book size was $75 odd billion. That means each of these companies had a clear plan of how they are investing. It's not in the air. And today that number is over 160 billion. So even during this lockdown, I've been able to double it. In fact, I'm the only one who's increasing the size of my team too. And a significant part of that is going towards green investment. Be it looking at energy, be it looking at mobility, which is EV, be it looking at construction with new materials and new manner in which it is coming about. Please remember, one of the biggest open spaces we have in opportunities is the entire construction itself. 70% of India of 2030 is yet to be constructed. That is what was said by somebody. And if you look at that entire space, you're seeing a large part of that being looked at in a green manner, which can be. But apart from that, look at what are the focus areas which we are looking at today. The focus areas which we're looking at, waste to wealth. In fact, that's a big initiative within Invest India itself, which is what we are working on, and it's under the Prime Minister's Science and Technology Initiative. There's a significant amount of work which is happening, and that has taken off in a huge trajectory going forward. But apart from that, look at the entire social infrastructure. When we talk about the entire medical, the education, and apart from that, the entire digitization. So one of the underlying trends before we went into this virus, I know we all started it in some minute fashion, was that work from home.
Mm-hmm.
What we're talking about is now becoming the main gorilla in the room. And this work from home essentially means work from anywhere. And to my mind, that is bringing India to its one of most critical inflection points in our history, where what that is happening is that all of my entire 1.5 billion, which will be my human resource by 2025, will be equally empowered and democratized in terms of access to opportunity. That digital India movement, which was started by Prime Minister Modi, I think has been one of the most catalytic elements which has been created and which is having an impact in society everywhere across all elements of it. And the green element being the center of it, because if you recollect, even in the top 20, we are the only ones who've been able to meet the deadlines and the figures so far with all the other countries. So I think that remains as a foremost part of our agenda that has been led to by the Prime Minister right from the beginning. If you look at the entire energy and the resources bit and the renewable energy leaps we've made, including the numbers, you will see that that continues to be the entire effort.
Mm-hmm.
And that fits into your green energy, is frugal innovation delivery.
Mr. Bagla, because I have limited time, so I just want to put in another question to you, is that you talked about openness as well. And India has been talking about self-reliance in these times of the pandemic. But on the other hand, we've seen that there have been certain restrictive policies that are hurting sectors like e-commerce investment, for example. We have seen certain high-profile retrospective tax cases as well, which is being fought in the international court, the recent being Kane Energy. So what kind of signals is India sending then to global investors with such kind of steps?
So I would say, and most of the global investors, and that's what we deal with, I think they see very clearly the openness available. They're seeing how they can participate in each and every sector. I also think it is very critical that whenever there is a law of a land, both the spirit and the word of that law should be very good. I'm not getting into details, but as far as that is concerned, the private sector can play a role in each and every sector of my economy. And provided there are rules and regulations within, and I think that is fairly fair. And I think everybody appreciates that. And the other point, which is the more critical point, is that it has been now well acknowledged that we are on the path to more openness. Look at the entire set of rules, regulations which have come out during the past 6 years, during the past 10 years. You will see the road ahead is very clear. It's towards more openness. And I must bring you here to a quote. Last year in Davos, when we were there at a round table, this was on India, and we had over 18 global investors, some of them financial investors. One of them was doing a 2x of their investment in India, actually close to a 3x. They were planning to expand it in the next 12 months. Another investor asked them as to why are you wanting to do that? And by the way, this is one of the world's largest pension funds. And that person said, every tomorrow of India is better than today. He said, the road ahead is very clearly defined. And there's a strong taking you on that path. The numbers state for themselves the global confidence in us. And especially when you've now become one of the top greenfield destinations in the world, that clearly bears testimony to the point that they're looking at you with that faith, with that trust, and they know where they're heading.
And how important it is to choose healthy brand associations to build a resilient brand which can resonate in the post-pandemic world. And when you're talking about Brand India, which will be better than today for our tomorrow.
I think each one of us is a brand. Each one of those 1.5 human resources is today a brand for India. And that's standing out in the world for us. and the empowerment of each one of those. In fact, I've always believed that as we move out of this pandemic, India is not just going to be a top-down, it's going to be a bottom-up. And the new engine of growth is going to move beyond those 12 or 13 larger metro centers to the smaller towns and cities of India. And this bottom-up growth model is not, but it's going to be far more equitable and far more empowered.
Well, Mr. Bagla, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining us on this session with the BBC. Back to you, Ivan.
Thank you, Davina. Always a pleasure.